Well, hello there, and welcome back. This is episode 16 of my Minecraft 1.14 Let's Play series. I'm not out of resources yet, but I'm going to need a lot of dirt, a lot of stone, and a lot of cobblestone to build my floating island. And the best way that I could think of to get all of those resources is just to dig a giant hole. So I've got a beacon that I've set out down there. I'm several thousand blocks away from my base. The desert with my mob farm is a few hundred blocks in that direction. So hopefully I never really come upon this giant hole that I'm about to dig. I'm not sure exactly why I picked a dark forest. Originally I was thinking the trees would kind of cover up the hole, but I'm not sure if I want to just leave floating trees above the hole. But I'm far enough from my base that I don't think it really matters either way. So I'm just going to do as much digging as I can and gather a bunch of resources. I got a bunch of shulker boxes on me. My ender chest is empty. I do need a bunch more cobblestone than stone. So I'm going to have to use a regular pick. And hopefully I don't crack my ender chest with a regular pick too many times. I'm guessing the over-under is 4. I'm going to crack my ender chest 4 times. That's my guess. Let's find out. I ended up cracking 2 ender chests with the wrong pickaxe, so if you took the under on that, you were correct. I did not, however, break any tools, which is amazing, because I usually break at least a couple of tools. And as you can see, there's a lot of damaged tools, and there's a few more damaged tools in my other end shulker boxes as well. But I've got all of these items, all of these shulker boxes are full, somewhere around 38 of them. I'm only at y equals 57, so this was on top of a hill. There's still a long way to go. I just barely reached the border of the beacon in that direction, so there's still a while to go in this direction, in that direction, in that direction. And how you doing? And those guys are trying to sell me their religion. They've been hanging out here for a while. So I will probably be back to get more of this because I doubt this is enough. Let's just throw out this iron ore because I do not need it. And these last 4. All right, so we're packed up and ready to go. So I'll meet you back at the base. The nice thing is that I do not have to sort through any of this. I can just shove these shulker boxes in my sorting system and it does all the work. I do need to make sure that there are enough shulker boxes for it to store them. So I'm probably going to have to come through and grab all these empty... Oop, don't do that. Grab all these empty shulker boxes as they're being emptied and put them into the various places. I do have a couple of them over here, so 4. So I'll make sure that anything that doesn't have a shulker box in it right now gets one, because we got dirt, stone, cobble. So we'll put 2 in cobble, 1 in dirt, and probably 1. Nope, plenty in gravel. So I think we got more cobble than dirt. So, but I'll go through, and as these empty out, I will make sure that those get stuffed back up. So it's going to take a while for it to sort through all of this. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to go on down and see if I can't do a little more of the rocky bottom of this floating island. long way to go on this, but it's starting to take shape, and I think it's starting to work out. And I'm just going to keep cracking away at it until we get there. In today's episode, I want to work on some convenience features for my storage system here. They're all some fairly simple redstone circuits that I think will add some extra functionality or make everything work a little better. And as an example, the first thing I want to work on is a garbage system. So say I have some items that I don't want anymore, like seeds come up all the time where you just end up with way too many of them. I want to have a chest right here. So this is a trapped chest so that there'll be a hopper underneath it, so if I'm putting items in, they won't go into the hopper until I actually close the chest. And that gives me an extra level of safety so that the items don't start getting thrown away until I actually close the chest. So if I put something in there accidentally, I can, before closing the chest, I can grab that item and it won't get thrown away. Super simple design here. I've shown a variant of this in the past in one of my videos. There's actually a variant of one right over there that spits the shulker boxes into this water stream. And all it is you got the dropper with comparator signal. You make that signal full strength so then when it comes back, it actually turns this comparator off because it compares the strength of this versus full strength. That turns it off, which turns this off. And then it compares against this again and says, hey, I've got an item. And then it'll clock it. So whenever you put an item in, it'll just continuously trigger a signal over and over again until the dropper is empty. And it's just spitting it out onto a cactus here. And the cactus will destroy any items that go, the chest is up here. And then they go down in the hopper, into the dropper. Not much more to talk about here. Alright, so I just duplicated that design 3 more times, once for each inner wall here. And then I've got another one over here that's right underneath my overflow line here. So this just connects to the same dropper as this chest over here, and then there's a 4th one over there. So this is useful because every once in a while I get items that I don't want to keep in my overflow line, and I can just take them and throw them in the chest. I don't have to go anywhere, and those will get destroyed. The next 2 things have to do with the shulker box unloader that runs my whole system here. And I learned recently when I came back with 38 or so shulker boxes that this system can actually get overloaded. It's got this comparator here on this hopper right here, and the system does not work unless this comparator, this hopper, is empty. And if you put in so many shulker boxes that it backs up into that hopper, well, then the system just stops working. So I had to take some shulker boxes out, and I'll have to load them back in a little bit. But it's actually a fairly simple fix because this hopper right there can actually be replaced with a double chest with no real consequence. So that gives me 54 extra slots, plus we got the hopper here and then the 9 in the dispenser here. Let's get that out of there. That'll cause a problem. And that should hopefully give me enough storage that I won't run into this problem again. The other issue has to do with putting regular items into this chest right here. And while I can't put shulkers into this shulker box, this is where my normal regular items would go, I can easily put regular items into my shulker box chest, and that will actually bind up the system. And because of that, I've had to keep opening this hole in the ground right here to go down and fix that. It only happens from time to time, but it's still pretty annoying when you get regular items in the dispenser that aren't shulker boxes. So the ideal solution would be to sort the shulker boxes from the regular items, and then it wouldn't matter what I put in the chest. And I considered that before, and I wasn't really sure how to do it. And I was watching a video by Ilmanger recently, and he pointed out the solution's actually relatively simple, that regular items will go into a shulker box, and shulker boxes will not. Of course, the solution isn't quite that simple, because how do you get the shulker boxes to go somewhere else if the hopper is pointed into the shulker box? So his solution is right over here, and he uses a dropper to try and shoot the item into the shulker box, and if it doesn't go into there, it'll drop down below and then go the other way. So this system, if I put shulker boxes and regular items in it, the shulker boxes will go this way and the regular items go this way. So we got 3 shulker boxes there, and you see the sea lanterns are starting to come in through here. Now, the way that it works is it's basically the same clock we had for our garbage dispenser. It's just targeted a little bit differently. So this is the same clock. It compares whenever there's an item in this hopper up above the dropper, and then it has a 2-tick delay that fires off this block here and this block down below. So this one will hold the hopper below, and this one will fire off the dropper. So whenever an item goes into there, right as soon as it drops into this, it's going to try and fire it into this thing. And if it doesn't, then when this redstone signal ends, it'll drop the item into there. So this works fairly well, and it's nice and easy. It will slow down my item transfers just a little bit, but most of my item transfers are in shulker boxes, so slowing down the shulker boxes doesn't really hurt anything. Slowing down this, a little bit unfortunate, but usually I only put a few stacks. You know, I mean, I can only carry so many stacks in my inventory. Shulker boxes are the main deal, and being able to use a single point of entry is actually really nice. And I did some testing, and this is actually a fairly compact design. It will fit right above my shulker box unloader without me having to move anything and without interfering with any of the redstone signals on the unloader itself. That's all there is to it right here. It's this circuit in purple. It's exactly the same way I had it designed in Creative. And we've got our dropper here. It feeds down from this hopper. There's the comparator that checks for it. And then it fires this, holds this hopper below it, fires this dropper. Here's the shulker box. In the shulker box, any regular items are going to go into this chain here, and they're going to be met with the items that come through this hopper chain below that's from the shulker box unloader. And any shulker boxes are going to go, they're going to drop down into this hopper. Here's the chest that we just added. Feeds down into this hopper and into this dispenser, and that's what feeds into the shulker box loader, which we see operating right now. Now that I've done that, I don't need the extra shulker box down here. I can just load all my items into these chests here, so I can load these items in. And that means that I've got this empty slot here. I think that is a much better place to put these crafting tables, and makes the floor look a little bit neater when I do that. And I can also finally, I missed a chest here. There we go. I can take all these, I threw these excess shulker boxes that wouldn't fit in the system. I threw them in here. So I can throw these in now. I've got that extra chest that helps make sure that I don't overload the system this time. And any other items I got in my inventory that I don't need at the moment. Let's put all these trap chests away, etc. And yeah, so now all these will load, and we can actually watch it work. You can see everything happening. See regular items going into there, and we shouldn't have any regular items in any of these chests. It's all just shulker boxes, so it's working. That's great. I love this. I'm pretty sure this is an exact copy of what Ilmango had in his video. It took me quite a bit of pausing to figure out where everything was and testing and experimenting. But I'm not going to make a tutorial for this. One, because it's super simple, and two, because it's not my design. So if you're interested in this, I'm going to kind of just slowly go over it. You can take a look at all the components here, and you can copy it for your own build if this is something you need. Next, I want to move this little nano farm right here. This is my old bone meal crop farm that I set up. It's one of the first things that I put on this island, and it was just a quick and dirty design I came up with. It's not perfect, but it fulfilled the need that I had at the time, which was supplying food for these guys over there, that village breeder. But at this point, it is no longer part of the island anymore. All of this is going to have to move at some point. But also, I can fit it in one of the recesses in the storage center back behind the non-sortable items is where I'm going to put it. And I've also found a much better design that's faster and doesn't have some of the issues that this thing has. This is a design by Vidar Gavia, and it's actually really cool. I didn't know you could do this. If you hold down the crop, it'll actually grow faster than the water can come to flush it away. And this is a really, really fast farm. So I started with 1 stack, and I've already got 38 just from those few seconds. He said it gets about 3 stacks per minute. So that's very cool. It's much faster than the one that I had going. So I'm very happy with that. So I did a little bit of rearranging of the build because he had a dispenser here and an observer back there, and I switched them around because there wasn't really anywhere that I could put a hopper pointing into that dispenser that was up there. I could have arranged it a little bit differently, but I wanted to put it down here so I had lots of room to put lots of chests to put bone meal in, because you can run out of bone meal pretty fast on these kind of things. So I wanted to make sure I didn't have to keep resupplying it every few minutes, because that can really slow you down. And I rearranged this as a little bit. This could all be redstone, except for this one observer. I could just put redstone, but I thought the observers looked kind of cool. So I just, I made it a little more expensive, but I think it looks cooler than just having redstone dust sitting on an observer and the two dispensers. But, it could go either way. It's just a really simple build. Didn't take me long to set up at all. And I'm definitely going to need these carrots for the next build. So my final build for the episode has to do with these shulker boxes right here, which are filled with bottles of enchanting that I got from these clerics right here. And honestly, trading with these guys is one of the best ways to repair your broken equipment. You could have a lot of experience this way. And so I've done a lot of repairing that way, and I've got all those broken tools for my dig earlier. And I'll probably do it again, and I might end up with another shulker box full of bottles of enchanting. But sometimes you just need to repair on the go. So I wanted to build like a little, where I just push a button and it'll shoot out experience points for me. I was originally hoping that I'd be able to put the circuit somewhere in the center console here. Like if there was a button here, then there'd be dispensers underneath the carpet that would spit out the items. And possibly even I can use all four sides and have one side be experience, another for golden carrots, another for rockets, and then the fourth for something like ender pearls or something like that. But when I laid it all out, the dispensers under the carpet didn't work very well because it's too hard to resupply them. So basically I'd have to pull up the carpet and manually put items into each of the dispensers. Otherwise, there really wasn't any other way to get the items into them. And I really didn't like that idea. So then I thought about combining all four of the circuits for the four different items and possibly putting them in the wall here. I preferred this wall because this is the one I travel through the most, so just having the buttons right up here. But there's a little bit of room back here, but not quite enough, not for the resupply. And I was also hoping that I could have some indicator lights to let me know when the items were low. And as you can see, we're butting up right against this hopper if we've got 4 items, and then the resupply butts up against all of this as well. There just really wasn't any way that I could make it fit in this room right here. The one place I did find, however, was over on this wall back here in this corner behind these items here. So we've got the concrete maker behind that one, and we put the carrot farm, the bone meal farm, over behind that one. And so this wall right here, I laid it all out, and it will just barely fit. And actually the circuits butt up against these sorters right here, but none of the circuits actually interfere with each other. So this is the design that I ended up with, and it was supposed to be a simple circuit, and admittedly, I got a little bit carried away with it. It actually took me a couple days to plan all this out because I wanted to try and make it as compact as possible, and it took quite a bit of work to do that. But it actually looks a lot more complex than it really is, and that's largely because it's so compact. There's just a lot of things that are crammed into a very small space. So you can see the circuits are all color-coded, so there's 4 different circuits, one for each of the buttons, and there's 2 more over here. So that's the yellow for rockets, orange for carrots, green for experience, purple for ender pearls. There's a sorting circuit right here, and the red circuits, which there are only a few red blocks, but those do the indicator lights. And I'm especially proud of that one because I had a very small space to work with, and what it does is it uses pistons to move cauldrons into comparators, and the comparators are what turn on the light. So I thought that was kind of a cool circuit. So we've got a supply chest, we've got indicator lights, we've got buttons. It all works really well. So if I didn't have any items on me, I can push any one of these buttons. It'll give me 64 carrots. It'll give me 16 ender pearls. It'll give me 64 rockets. And it will give me 32 experience points, which you can't really count that, but you see it at 64, 64, 16, and we got a bunch of experience. So it's all working really, really well. If you're interested in this design for your own world, I will be making a tutorial in the next week or so. So look for that. I did design this to be as general purpose as possible. So you could definitely use this in its own world. You can switch up the items. There's a lot of different things you can do with that. So I'll go over all that in a upcoming tutorial video. And I'll also explain how all the circuits work and how I came up with everything. But until then, let's build this in survival. Alright, so there it is, all finished. I've got it all loaded up. I need to get some more ender pearls in order to get this light to turn off. It'll probably only take a few stacks. I will do that between episodes, but it does have a decent amount of ender pearls in there. I just only had about a shulker box full, so that's not enough to turn the light off just yet. But the rest of these have many, many shulker boxes loaded into them, and I've tested them all, and they're all working great, and everything looks really good. That's a nice clean wall. And you can see back here, you can see it looks pretty cool through the wall. Doesn't interfere with any of the other systems that are going on here. And I'm really, really happy with what I got done out of this episode. Should help a lot. There's some very convenient features that I've added to the storage system. So that's all I have time for today. Version 1.15 will be coming out in a couple days for me. It'll probably be out the day I release this video because of the upload schedule and everything like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. The first versions of new Minecraft versions have been notoriously buggy in the past. So I don't know if I'll be able to use it or not. What I might do is run a backup of this world right now and then give it a shot and see if any bad bugs come up or see if I can play it. So we'll see what happens with the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching and have a good one.